Right, yes guys, welcome back to another episode of Ball Talk with me, Lewis Bryon. Today, I'm joined by massive Arsenal fan, content creator, Noah Jones. Noah, how are you, mate?
What's going on? I'm good, how are you?
Yes, I'm all good. Listen, we'll get right into it, yeah? So we'll talk the Brighton Arsenal result last night, and then we'll go into the highly anticipated Arsenal versus Bayern quarterfinal of the Champions League, yeah? First leg, we'll talk all about that.
Absolutely, sounds good to me, bud.
Yeah, right. So last night, Brighton, Arsenal, it was 3-0 win, away from home. Another clean sheet. Okay, I think, who was it? Saka, Havertz, Trossard, they got the goals.
That's it, yeah.
What was your thoughts? What was your general thoughts on the game?
It was good, mate. It was good. I felt like first half completely in control. And it looked quite comfortable. Even when they kind of broke forward, counter-attacks, got a little of the ball, none of it seemed to worry us. And that's what seems to happen against most teams these days. Second half, I feel like we gave them about 5-10 minutes of the ball. And I started to get a little bit worried that they were getting back into the game. But that second goal just killed it, man. It was like, after that, it was like a training session, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like you said, I feel like we've gone to another level defensively now. Like the first 10 minutes, I thought we were quite poor on the ball, really. We didn't really keep it that well. But we're so comfortable in not having the ball now. We're so solid at the back that it didn't really worry us. As a team, you could tell we weren't like, confidence didn't panic or anything. And then when we got our chances, we took them. And Saka got his pen. Was that a pen for you?
Oh, it was a tough one. We were watching it, and I don't think I'd be too annoyed if he didn't give it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. For me, it's definitely a pen. I look at it as if he didn't get taken down, he would have still had the ball. Really, like the ball didn't get kicked away or. Yeah,
you are right. It was just that slight touch of the ball, and it was so slight. I think. Do you know what? If it's the other way around, I think I go. Well, he touched the ball first. Do you know what I mean? I think it was a pen, but I think I would have struggled to argue too much if he didn't give it.
Yeah, I think there would have been an uproar if he didn't give it. To be fair, especially from the Arsenal fans, but it would have been a big talking point, a lot more than the fact he has given it.
Absolutely, but we got it and he slotted it, so we can't complain about it, can we?
Nah, exactly. And I mean, before that, the start of the game, we had we created 3 or 4 good chances and missed them all, really. But like I said earlier, we stayed calm and composed, and we knew the chances would come, and we stayed just clinical with it. I wasn't. Yeah, go on, mate.
I was about to say the kind of out of possession thing. I think when you're watching it makes me nervous, right? Missing chances, being out of possession, sometimes wasting possession, which we don't do too much of. But that Gabriel header from the free kick
needed to go in, that didn't it?
Exactly that. And I watched that, and I'm like, right, any more of them? I think Jesus had a chance, kind of snapped at it a bit, and I watched that, and I get a bit nervous, like. In the past, we've wasted chances. You know what I mean?
It's trauma. That's what it is,
mate. It reminds me of the Fulham and the West Ham games back in December. It just brings me back to that. But they don't seem to be bothered at all, and that's why they're professional footballers. And I'm not. But that's the difference. But they seem so calm, and controlled, and confident that even when we do miss them chances, you're like, we'll get more. It'll be fine.
Yeah, like you said, they're so confident now going forward and in defending that it almost translates across to us a bit now that we're all right. We'll be all right. They're that top level now,
100%, 100%.
You mentioned Jesus there. I feel like he's still a bit off the pace. I wasn't 100% convinced of it. I think he holds on to it a bit too long since he's come back. And like you said, he's obviously a bit rusty in front of goal still. Yeah. I don't know if you thought that. Looking at last night's game.
Yeah, man, the guy is an elite ball carrier. Like the control he has, the close control with that football is mad. But then he doesn't seem to do anything.
Yeah.
And I think I still love him and I still want him at Arsenal. But I don't think he's a striker. And I know that's bizarre because he's had 10 years of playing up Man City's attack. I prefer him on the wing. And especially the way we play now, we play a lot of ways, but a lot of it now comes Ben White down the channel, knock it into the box. Jesus isn't scoring them headers that Havertz is scoring, that Gabriel's scoring, that Declan Rice is getting in there. I prefer him on the wing nowadays because his feet are unreal. I don't know if you remember against Man City when he put like 5 City players on the box on the floor.
Yeah.
And then did nothing. And it was like, mate, you've done the hard bit and you just haven't shot.
Yeah.
But still love him. I think he's quality. Would rather have Martinelli starting out there, but I can see that we're managing before the Bayern game. It's just that final product. It's that Theo Walcott, doing all the hard bits in that final product. And
I'm starting to realise now, that why maybe he was off the bench so much for Man City, especially in his later years there, because he's so, for me, that's where Havertz, like you said, I prefer him up top as that number 9 at the moment, and he won't get in front of Martinelli or Saka for me on the wings. So he makes a real impact with his energy. Like you said, his ball carrying holds up well when he comes on. 100%. So it's not good for him to get like typecast as that. For a top level team, that's probably where he's at.
Yeah, it's the when you've got tired legs 70 minutes, you want him running at your defenders, I think, because his feet are so quick and he keeps it so close. But listen, that might be him now. He might be an impact player off the bench, and I guess as we saw with Man City, for a title-winning side, some players have got to accept that. And it seems like a shame, but if Martinelli and Havertz are doing better out there, then you've got to keep them.
Yeah. And like you just mentioned, Havertz has been unbelievable. We got another goal. And was it Jorginho that set it up? I think he set up one of his, he might have set up his goal. Yeah. So that's 2 signings that people were umming and ahhing about.
Chelsea rejects.
Exactly, yeah. And they've come so good now. I'm so happy with that Havertz signing. Honestly, 60 million, I think is it worth it, would you say? I definitely think so.
Look, we all thought at the start that it was a strange decision. I was a bit like, I don't get it, but I'm going to trust Arteta because what he's done in the past few years has been perfect, and he seems to have got it right. And although Havertz definitely is not one of the best footballers in the world, like I'm not putting him on the same level as some of these strikers and attacking mids, he's a nuisance. Yeah. And I think that's what he does. He's just in your face, and then he's behind you, and then he's tracking back, and now he's in the box. He's just a nuisance for defenders, and I think that works. When we've got Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, or Trossard, whoever you've got, we don't really play that like, right, Erling Haaland is our main striker. Ollie Watkins is the main striker. We play everyone, and he's just annoying. When I watch the game, if I was defending that, he's just annoying, and it works.
Yeah, and he's not someone you'd feel like an Erling Haaland where there's immediate threat or danger. He's not going to spin you and run you in behind, but he's picking up these goals now. And like you said, he's also so unselfish on the other side.
Yeah.
And I feel that his poor form at Chelsea has helped almost him trying to prove a point, him doing the unselfish work. And it's making him feel like, right, I've got to prove to everyone now that I can actually play. And it's made 100%. Him work harder.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what we see with Arteta nowadays is what he wants from his players is work rate. And I think he could have probably been labelled as a bit of a lazy player back in the past. And when you watch the games, sometimes you're like, oh, he's done nothing. And then you look at the stats after and he's won 10 out of 10 duels and he's covered this distance. True. And exactly. And I think looking like 60 million is a good deal now. And I love him. I think he's quality.
Yeah, I agree. And when you mentioned lazy there, like that's probably what he got typecast as previously. I actually don't think it was like lazy. I think it was just not really knowing his role. Like he didn't really know. He was sort of just floating about, not knowing what to do.
100%. And I think I still don't know if anyone knows his true position. I like him. I like him as a false 9. I don't think he's an out-and-out striker. I don't think he's an attacking midfielder. And he's definitely not a winger. So I think just top of the diamond in that hole. Because he's a bit of like, he's not a target man. He's not a like crazy ball carrier. He's not going to spin you like you say, but he's always there. And if he's a goal poacher, who cares? Because he's getting the goals.
Yeah, it's true, very true, mate. I completely agree. Right, we'll leave Brighton Arsenal for now, and we'll go on we'll talk all things Arsenal Bayern. Okay.
Wow.
So it's at the Emirates Tuesday night. I think it's 8:00 kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And Bayern Munich I believe they've lost their last 2 games. I think they lost on Saturday and lost to Dortmund the game before.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have Harry Kane, who loves scoring at the Emirates. So, I mean, what's your thoughts going into this? What are you thinking? How do you think it's going to go?
It's a real weird one because you say Bayern and you're talking elite, aren't you? That's like top 6, 7 teams in Europe of all time. Bayern are up there, right? But this season, they just don't look great.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's so weird.
It's so weird, and I don't want to. I'm not overconfident in any way. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to beat them 5-0, but I'm weirdly going into it the same way as I went into City, where I'm like, of course anything could happen, and of course because they're Bayern Munich, they could beat us 3-1. But I'm up for it, and I think years gone by, the horrible years of 10-2 on aggregate against Bayern, Robben and Ribéry running us riot.
I mean, if we're talking trauma, Bayern have give us trauma.
Oh, mate, probably one of the biggest teams that have left a sour taste in our mouth. It's but it's weird. It now feels like we go into these games like, yeah, let's have it. And the way they've been playing recently isn't great. I've just watched their highlights against, who was it? Heidenheim, who they played on Saturday.
Yeah, that's it.
And oh, mate, after half time, when they were 2-0 up at 50 minutes, they lost 3-2. Their defence looks so leggy and tired.
Yeah, their defence has been really poor recently. I didn't watch the game on Saturday, but I see the Dortmund game, and I just thought at the Emirates with the crowd, I thought our attack will be that's a big problem for them. A big problem.
Yeah, and obviously they've got no away fans, have they? They got banned for flares, I think. So there's
have they?
Yeah, mate. They in their last Champions League game or the one before, they were throwing flares on the pitch and their away fans got banned. So it is literally 60,000 Arsenal fans, which is huge. The impact of that noise could be vital, and I think because we've got home advantage, all the fans, we're playing very well. They're not playing great. If you can walk away from that game 2-0, 3-1, give us a 2-goal cushion. I think you go to Bayern and Arteta might go, look, we do exactly the same as what we did at the Etihad, and we just
exactly my thoughts.
Yeah. The only worry is Harry Kane, isn't it?
Yeah. For me, like that Harry Kane, like you said, they're not great at the back. We're looking good at going forward, and we're looking good at the back as well, like really solid. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Gabriel and Saliba do like a striker that always plays up against them and they can really battle. Yeah. Harry Kane won't always be up against them. He will drift about. He will drop in. Yeah. So I feel like it's going to be a big game for probably Jorginho, who will be in and around there. Maybe Declan Rice dropping in deep to just give them that protection. Yeah, because they're more likely going to have their wingers pushing on and running in behind, even if it's narrow, and Harry Kane dropping deep. So it'd be interesting to see how they cope against that style of striker.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you look at past like Arsenal Tottenham games. You take one game, Gabriel has bullied Harry Kane. You take the next game, Harry Kane has bullied us, and it kind of has flitted back and forth. And he's a quality player. And you can't forget that they've got Musiala, Kimmich, Coman, Gnabry. Like they've got some unbelievable players.
I have.
And there's a little bit in the back of my head that is like, this is the only thing they're playing for this season now. They're out of the German Cups. They will not win the league. This is all they've got left. And it's a bit like, that could be the adrenaline, the push that they need. But look, I'm confident and wary at the same time. You mentioned Jorginho. Do you think it'll be Jorginho at the party?
I do. I think it'll be Jorginho. I think actually we'll go through that now. Cool. In terms of the starting 11, who would you want to start? Okay, we'll go both our keepers, back four, midfield and attack, yeah?
Cool.
So obviously in goal, I'm sure we'd go with Raya.
Yeah, love Aaron Ramsdale, but look, Raya's been quality. His passing's been a little bit iffy the past 2 games, but
it has.
He slows down the game and he's got a calmness on the ball, which I like. And that save he pulled off yesterday was world class.
Great.
It's David Raya, 100%.
Yeah, back four, who you got?
Ben White, unbelievable season he's having, and he's one of them. He's a Neil Maupay, isn't he? He's a bit of a tool, and I think you need that against teams that are good teams. He can get in their head. So Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel.
This is the sticking point for me because Zinchenko played on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think he played on Wednesday as well, because Kiwior against City did look a bit leggy, and I think he played like 120 for his country the same week. But for me, I'd start Kiwior. I just prefer him defensively. I think he's so much more sound. And Zinchenko, although he does get us playing maybe a bit more, he does hold on to it again. It's similar to Jesus. He holds on to it for quite long. Hasn't looked the same in the last few games, I don't think. So I'd go Kiwior left back.
Is there a shout for Tomiyasu left back, or not for you?
Not to start, I don't think at the moment. I think he's just so good to have if we need to. Like you said, if Kiwior's leggy or Zinchenko's leggy, Ben White, he's the perfect player to bring on. And a backup if they get injured, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Kiwior. I think he's good defensively. I'm not 100% comfortable with him on the ball at the minute. Zinchenko is fantastic at playing the ball around. When Kiwior's running with the ball, I'm not like, something's going to happen here. I'm a bit like, just don't lose it.
I know what you're saying.
But if you've got, like you say, if you've got Jorginho and Rice, just give it to them and let them do it. Do your defensive duty and that's it. So I'll agree with you. I'll go Kiwior.
Yeah, and to be fair, like you said, you're thinking, just don't lose it with Kiwior. With Zinchenko, I almost think, because he is so comfortable and good on the ball, he takes more risks, and I think, God, is he gonna lose it as well for the other reason?
You're right. And you can do that against Luton and Brighton, no disrespect, but you can't be doing that against Munich and City. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Right, so back four's done. Midfield three, again, you just touched on it. I'd go Jorginho, holding. I think he's not really put a foot wrong since he's come back in the team. And then I'd have the roles have been playing. Declan Rice a bit higher up as the left 8, and Martin Odegaard, I think he's our most important player.
Yeah,
as the other,
100%.
the right-sided number 8.
His comfortability, Odegaard's comfortability on the ball is ridiculous.
So good to watch, isn't it?
It is unreal. And his when we talk about close control, if he's got 4 players around him, he doesn't look like he's going to lose it.
Yeah.
Somehow, I think he's quality. So obviously Odegaard, Declan Rice, and it is Jorginho, because it's that stability, it's that experience. If he needs to say to, like, if Martinelli, Saka are getting a bit hyped up, if Kiwior's getting a bit nervous, he's the one to go, give me the ball, I'll slow it down, and we'll play from there. And even when he's got his, when we're getting pressed high and David Raya's got the ball, you always are like, give it to Jorginho, because he will sort it out.
100%.
Exactly. Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, I agree.
Yeah, nice. And I'll let you go first on this one. The front three, who would you go with?
I'm going Saka, I'm going Havertz up top, and I'm going Martinelli.
Yeah. I'm going exactly the same. I think like we've touched on Jesus and the reasons why I wouldn't put him in there on the left. And Martinelli's, I think he's pretty much nearly back to full fitness now. So 60, 70 minutes, you can take him off, and then you can bring on a Jesus, like we just spoke about, who will come with tons of energy.
And the last time I checked, I believe that Sacha Bowie, the right back, is injured. And he is class, and he is rapid. And I think if he was fit, maybe I'd play Jesus, because Martinelli's game is to run at goal. And if you've got a fullback that can match his pace, I feel like he gets a bit ineffective. But I think he's injured. And in that case, I want Martinelli running at that defence, man. When we said they look leggy against Dortmund and Heidenheim, imagine Martinelli running at you. You'd be kicking it, wouldn't you? Yeah, absolutely. That's where he's best. And Havertz, again, I want a nuisance. How tall is he? He's like 6'3", 4", isn't he?
6'4", yeah. He's tall, tall boy.
Silly. I want that against whoever plays in the back, Upamecano, De Ligt, Kim Min-jae. I want him to be in the box. I want him to be bodying them. I want him on the headers. And Saka picks himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, Saka's got to be in. I think he's looked a little leggy at some points, but again, he still needs to be in. You can't put anyone else in front of him, can you? Absolutely. And I love Saka. But the whole football Twitter, football YouTube, everything at the minute is Foden, Palmer, Saka, right? I really want Saka to shine in a big game.
I don't think he goes missing like people say.
No, he doesn't. He does not go missing in big games. That narrative winds me up so much because he does. He plays excellent in big games.
Yeah, you're right, and I don't see it either. But I'd love him to put 2 past Bayern, and just then that whole Saka doesn't turn up in big games. Done.
Yeah, exactly that.
Done.
To be fair, I don't think it will be done. They'll just forget about that game, won't they?
Yeah, of course they will. When he doesn't score against Bournemouth next, they'll say he's terrible. But no, that's a good squad. And then you start looking at our bench, which you never used to be able to do, and go, that's a good bench. Trossard off the bench is a joke, man.
Yeah,
I feel bad for him because he's so good off the bench. It's like he can't get a start now.
I know. Yeah, it's just the level Arsenal are at now, isn't it? It is the level Arsenal are at.
That's it, and it's a good problem, isn't it? When you look at like last year when we were going up against City, and you look at City's bench, how do you compete? Like Jack Grealish, 100 mil sitting on the bench, Bernardo Silva, one of the best players up there of all time, sitting on the bench. Now I feel like we're starting to get there, and then when we bring in some new signings next season, it will be us. It will be like, how is that person sitting on the bench?
Yeah.
Because the players ahead of him are just better.
Yeah, like you said, Man City, they had De Bruyne out and they bring Foden in. They go from like A to A, didn't they? Whereas Arsenal, we probably go A to B at the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like you said, hopefully that can change in the summer. But to finish on, I just want to give our predictions, official prediction for Bayern, the Bayern game. I'll go first.
Yes.
Again, so everything tells me we should really dominate them. That's what at home. That's what it tells me. But it's our first year back in the Champions League. Bayern Munich are experienced in it. I think we'll win at home. I'm going to go 3-1. I do think they'll score. I think we'll break our little clean sheet run. Yeah, but I think I'll go 3-1.
I'm so glad you've said that because I was nervous to say it when we lose 1-0 and this gets clipped up. I am going 3-1. Maybe even 4-1.
Yeah, I can see us scoring a lot, but I just feel they might get a goal with what I mentioned about Kane, and they've got 100%. Loads of attacking threat. It'll be a different style to defend against.
Yeah, and I don't think we want to do is play like we're doing against City, because I think
not at home, no way.
City would batter Bayern at the minute as well. So I feel like we can take control of it. We should take control of that game, and we should be the ones playing. And if that is the case, I don't think 3-1 is a crazy shout at all.
No, like you said, we're at that level where we need to be dominating these games at home now. Whereas 2-3 years ago, we weren't in it, but we would sort of just hope to sneak a result somehow at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it, mate, and I think it'll be a quality game for the neutral as well. But it's revenge time.
Yeah,
it's time.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Now
Lovely.
We'll leave it there, and we'll see how our predictions get on, and maybe have a catch up after.
Sounds good to me, mate. Can't wait.
Sounds good. Nice one.